That's the right. Thanks everyone for coming to the June meeting of NEWRA. I just want to let everybody know this meeting is being recorded and it will be posted on the NEWRA.org website in a day or two. And as always, please be respectful when you're speaking to your friends and neighbors and our guests. I have a couple of updates for the neighborhood. Mayor Michelle Wu is holding her neighborhood coffee next week, next Wednesday, June 15th from 9:30 to 10:30 at Langone Park. That's in the morning. I hope everybody can go and say hello to Mayor Wu. And I was contacted by our colleagues at the Wharf District Council about the new State Street traffic plan. I don't know if people are aware of this or not, but the Department of Transportation is proposing to turn State Street into 1 lane for vehicles and 1 lane for bikes. No one in the City of Boston Transportation Department was available to come to NEWRA this evening. I have been trying for weeks. They would not available, no one, to present their plan and obtain any feedback from this neighborhood, because this is going to directly impact us. I was told that the Transportation Department would be holding a citywide public meeting on Zoom next Wednesday, the 15th. I have no information. I have not been contacted. If we get something, we'll let everybody know. I did see the city's presentation at the Wharf District Council meeting a few weeks ago. This is really going to impact us. The folks, residents and businesses, as you know, make up the Wharf District Council. They voiced real serious concerns about traffic safety and offered an alternative plan that would keep State Street 2 lanes and move the bike lane over to Franklin Street. They have plans all drawn up so that the bike lane would have enough room so that bikers would be safe, pedestrians would be safe, cars would be saved. So we understand that the city wants to move forward with this plan. And I can just speak for myself. From what I've seen as a resident, the traffic situation is going to get worse. And I don't know how much more we can bear in our little neighborhood. And it is going to back up along the Surface Artery Road, Atlantic Ave, and right into the north end. Our colleagues at the Wharf District Council reached out to Mayor Wu, and she directed them to speak with the new Chief of Streets, Yasha Franklin Hodge, and I apologize if I mispronounced the first name. I have not heard it spoken yet. Wharf District is going to have a meeting on June 21st to discuss their plan, and they would really like our input. And I told them that I would attend and we'll send out a notice. They will be holding another meeting in July, probably on the 19th of July, and they are inviting city council, state officials, and all of us and all of their members and residents as well. So this is an opportunity where we really need to make our voices heard, because if you think it's bad now with the North Washington Street Bridge in limbo and the Sumner Tunnel undergoing renovation, the Ted Williams Tunnel going under renovation, just wait. State Street is a main artery into the city.
Carol, I wonder whether there's another reason the city is creating these very wide, I guess they're 2-way bike lanes, I'm not sure, but they're very wide bike lanes, as wide as a traffic lane. And we see them now, we see it now on State Street, but also up on Tremont Street.
Yep. And
the other motivation may be that due to all the gridlock in the city, which is going to get worse, the city has used these wide bike lanes as emergency vehicle lanes. The other day, police cars and ambulances were flying up the bike lane on Tremont Street. Yeah. Absolutely.
I saw the presentation about a month ago. The city transportation department gave it to Wharf District. I did not see anything like that, and I don't recall that. It's possible that they talked about it.
Just so you know, that's what's being done now. That the emergency vehicles in the city are using these wide bike lanes to get around gridlock, but they're going so fast up these lanes. And we just all better be very aware of this.
You have to be very aware of your surroundings anyway now. It's actually dangerous, but I can't answer that question, and nobody can, because they would not come to the meeting tonight. There was not one person available from transportation that could come. they had another meeting. I don't know why. There were like 5 or 6 people at Wharf District. I don't know why one person couldn't come tonight, but they could not. So let's move on. I would like to welcome Eva Scapicchio. She is our new city councilor, Gigi Coletta's new liaison to the North End waterfront. Eva, would you like to say a few words and say hello to all of us? You can unmute yourself.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for having me. I don't really have much to say. I'll be attending all of the meetings on behalf of the councilor. Just taking notes. If I have something from her to present, I will. Today, I'm just going to listen and hear what everybody has to say. So thanks for having me.
You put your email in the chat. We don't know how to reach you yet, so that would be great. We much appreciate it. Well, we're excited to work with you, and we're excited to work with Councilor Coletta. She's an old favorite of ours. We have worked with her for years when Lydia Edwards was our counselor. So sorry, we're just a couple minutes behind. I would like to introduce Henry Santana, who is the new director of the Office of Civic Organizing for the City of Boston. Henry, please tell us about your initiatives, how we can best work with you, and what you're going to be doing.
Yeah, good evening, everyone. Really thank you for the invitation, and really glad to be sharing this one with you guys. So yeah, as Cheryl mentioned, I'm the director of the new Office of Civic Organizing. We are replacing the old office of, it was called the Office of Public Service. So we are going to continue the 2 big initiatives that office we're doing, which was Love Your Block, which I'll go into in a second what that is, and City Hall to Go truck. So we are continuing those 2 initiatives, but we are also expanding and coming on with more of an educational lens of trying to empower and educate residents to be civically engaged. So some of the initiatives, like I said, Love Your Block, some of you may already know about it. There's 3 different components to it, to Love Your Block, but essentially it's a way that our office and the mayor's team helps and activates people to do cleanups. So one way of engaging in that way is that, we can get residents or group of residents or organizations to come and tell us, hey, we have a cleanup, we have volunteers, we have a location we want to already clean up. We don't have the tools. Can you help us with that? And we can provide tools on a certain day, for a weekend, for a couple of days, whatever the case may be. We also, another component to the Love Your Block is that we have the Love Your Block grant, which organizations and residents who partner with either City of Boston office or a nonprofit can apply to this grant and get awarded up to $3,500 to do some type of beautification project in their community. So that can be a cleanup, but that can also be, you see a place where you may want to do a mural and you want to, pay an artist to recreate this space. We can award that up. That deadline is actually tomorrow for that grant, but we do it annually. And the 3rd component to Love Your Block is that we also do, we do a big city-wide cleanup where we cover in 2 weekends the whole city, and we identify different areas in each neighborhood that we can clean up. Usually it happens in the spring due to the transition in our office being new. We are moving it to the fall. So look out for when North End is gonna, when we do a cleanup in North End, it's gonna likely be in the middle of September. And then, like I said earlier, we're trying to take on kind of a more of a awareness and educational lens to this. So we are launching some cleanup guides on how to actually host a cleanup if you're a resident or an organization. We're going to throw guides on how to host a block party. If the North End wants to, host a block party and a resident wants to do that, we're going to do a step-by-step on how to do it, how to get different licenses, and even things like, we're partnering with our cabinet campaigns around fireworks, for example, quality of life issues. But that's just a little bit about the office. Really want to be able to be a resource to all of you. Definitely want to connect and, bring your ideas and support your ideas. So thank you for having me, and happy to answer any questions. And I'll be sure to put my email in the chat.
Oh, that would be great. So we did get someone got a Love Your Block grant. Did you guys remember, everybody remember they came to us, they were gonna do some trees? John and Romano, I see you shaking your head. Yeah, it was a while ago. I don't know. I'll gotta reach out to them. They were with an environmental engineering firm. I don't know whatever happened to that. I think COVID happened, frankly. But no, that's great. Does anyone have any questions? Just open your mic and ask Henry.
And Friends of Cutillo Park also received one a couple years ago, and they were able to install very nice planters in Cutillo Park, which I hope remain after the renovation is done later this year. Hi, Henry. Congratulations on your new position. And I'm wondering about what you said with respect to educating residents to be more engaged in their communities. And I suspect that there are communities that are now quite engaged and others that are not. Have you actually put together, identified target neighborhoods at this point where the city believes that empowerment of the residents is still needed, and neighborhoods where maybe it's already happening?
Yeah, so that's something that we, are ongoing conversations. I mean, one thing we see is that different neighborhoods, different organizations, civic organizations meet more regularly, have more consistent participants, have a wide range of participants, and are either plugged in on what's going on in City Hall, and then you see other neighborhoods, quite frankly, are just not. So, and that just goes, I mean, the data that shows us, how many cleanups are being done, how many block parties are being done in certain neighborhoods, like different things like that. We're able to identify. But yes, to answer your question, those are ongoing conversations that are happening. But the goal is definitely not, I mean, we definitely want to be able to help those neighborhoods, but we also want to be able to support all neighborhoods still, right? So we want to just be able to offer different resources, but making sure that people who are not usually looped in are getting these resources as well.
And please don't issue any block party permits in the North End.
Yeah, so I don't issue, I don't do the issuing. I'm just gonna try to provide resources on how, if someone wants to do it, wants to learn how to do it, they'll know how to. I won't be, okay. I won't be issuing any permits.
I think well, we have a lot going on in the North End.
But happy to answer any questions even offline. I put my email.
Does anyone have any questions? No questions for Henry, huh? All right. Well, thank you. Thank you very much for coming in, and we look forward to working with you in the future. Yeah, keep us posted if you have anything that you want to come back and update us on in the future. Just, if you've got my email, you've got Dave's email, shoot us a note. We'd love to see you again.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Thank you so much. All right. Sierra D'Amico, you can open up your mic. You all know Sierra. She is our liaison to the city of Boston. I see that John Romano is here also this evening. But Sierra's going to give us an update on crosswalks and sidewalk repairs and painting, although someone told me that they were painting late last night out on Commercial Street. Outdoor patio dining, one-way Hanover Street, and the North Washington Street signal lights. So take it away, Sierra, please.
Hi, everyone. It's nice to see you all. I'm sorry I was a couple minutes late. I was running back from the gala. So the update with the crosswalks and sidewalks is basically the same thing as last month. I did a walkthrough with Public Works and BTD, and they were describing the differences of everything. It's really like weather-based as well. There's no like set plan yet, but they figured that they'll do it in a couple months. They were saying they were pushing it out because with outdoor dining now starting, they think they might be able to do it in the fall, but then constructions hold off. So Cooper Street was done, Stillman Street was done. There was some touch up on Commercial. Wiggett Street was done too. So as I was looking at the spreadsheet that you guys showed last time, those are all updated. So there was a couple, but right now there's no certain streets on the timeline. And as soon as I get an update, I'll give it to you guys too. But I have been working closely with them to find that out too. So I was learning a lot about sidewalks and crosswalks, and hopefully they'll all be painted within the next year or so. So that was really the only update I got from them. And then And outdoor patio, is there anything certain that anyone had questions on? Because it's basically
How's
just
it
it's doing
going?
the same thing.
How's it going?
It's been better than the first. I think it just needs to settle in for a bit. John and I, he's on here because he's does all of it as well too. He's been such a good help with everything. So everything's been good. And anytime we get any complaint, which mostly they've just been like people having like the side trays on the sidewalk and everything. We've walked by, those have been taken care of. Any signs have been out, or if they're past their measurements of what they have, we got that all handled within the next day or so. And John's been in great help. We've personally done walkthroughs a couple of times. We did one with the mayor, with Aaron, with Gigi, Lydia, all the officials, so elected officials. So it was good. It's been going good. So far, it seems like it's been busy. One-way Hanover has been working too. We've had pretty good enforcement. It's just the normal traffic. I feel traffic in the North End of Boston has just came back in general. Even with the West End, I've been getting calls because TD Garden, the Celtics playing last night, tonight, that obviously impacts the North End on a normal night anyways. Also, tourists come back all summer. So this is just our normal traffic. We haven't seen any differences from last year to this year. So as of now, One-Way Hanover has been working and it's been pretty good. And every time we've gotten a call, we've been able to handle any situation within the next day or a couple hours. Our team has been very responsive and good with that, which we are lucky for. I don't know if anyone had any certain questions about
Do
that.
you have any questions?
Yeah, this is Dave Kubiak. Ciara, thank you very much for being so responsive to our concerns. I think the walkthroughs that you described are really, really important and effective. And I hope that they're going to continue. And yeah, what's important is to make sure that our sidewalks, at least our sidewalks, are clear. Our roadways may not be clear, but at least the sidewalks need to be. And please take a look at that sign if you haven't already on the corner of Richmond and Hanover. That sign is there all the time. It's sitting in the middle of two sidewalks, the Richmond sidewalk and the Hanover sidewalk. And it's sitting right on top of the Freedom Trail as well. And it's been there for a year or more now. So that's great. In terms of Hanover Street one way, to me, there's a couple of impacts that need to be monitored, and maybe the city's already doing that. One is the backup of traffic on Cross Street coming in towards Hanover and wanting to take a right. And then the other is the traffic, and what I'm most concerned about is the traffic on Salem Street. Salem Street is an extremely narrow street, and it also has outdoor dining that makes that street even more narrow. And now we've got a lot more traffic on that street, and we have school buses on that street as well. So I hope the city, in evaluating this so-called pilot study this year, is going to be monitoring Salem Street and hopefully making sure that public safety is issue number one there.
Yeah, that's always our first concern, and we want to prioritize everyone's safety. That was the whole deal with the one-way Hanover, to give the trucks like a load-in area to have people walk through. With the school buses you mentioned, obviously there's a school on Salem Street. That is why the school buses go up that way. That's been like that ever since the Elliott has been there. So they've always gone that way for as long as I've known.
Yeah, I don't remember that, Ciara. I thought my memory is that those buses dropped the kids off on Hanover Street, and the kids either went up Charleston Street or crossed through Paul Revere Mall to get to school.
From what I've seen recently, it was Salem Street, because I know a lot of kids didn't want, it was like, couldn't get off on Hanover and it was far from them. So I think it was like a new drop off pickup, but I've gotten in contact with the Elliott School to talk about that too. And I know that won't be an issue within the next week or two, because school ends in like 2 weeks anyways. So that's something I can look into for you as well. But I know that's been like a drop off pickup anyways. And that just causes backup. I live right on North Street, and St. John's gets picked up. There's traffic all the time at 2 to 3 o'clock anyways, but that's like that every day. all during the school year. So that's something we can't, it's hard to kind of enforce when kids physically need to get in and out of the bus, but that's something we've kept a close eye on. I can look more into that too for the following school year as well when the fall comes, because I know they will be packing up school in a couple of weeks or so. And then with Salem Street and everything, I've worked closely with BTD. We've sat down and watched the traffic. Most of the issues that we've noticed from the backup of traffic was because people are just getting out and like getting out of their car, dropping off, picking up randomly. So that is why we worked closely with Lyft and Uber to get a certain spot, which will most likely be on the other side of Hanover. We haven't finalized that completely yet, but that's like almost in the works of being done. And I feel like once that is done, that will have a huge impact of being able to change, because I've even personally seen it. Like if someone gets out, even if it's within a second, that causes the light and all the traffic behind them to be backed up for a second. And then that just keeps backing everyone up within a minute or two. And then it just causes a huge traffic lane. So I feel like if people slowly start following the rules of getting picked up and dropped off in the certain spots, that will be better. So it's kind of hard to like enforce traffic just in general in Boston, because like I said, with the West End, I mean, TD Garden, the Celtics now, they draw all the traffic towards the North End regardless. And that's been an issue since the first day I started with outdoor dining. I've worked closely with my West End people too to talk about that.
That's great. Now, Natalie, you have a question? Open your mic.
Oh, that's me.
Yeah.
Okay, am I muted? I'm
Mary.
muted?
No, we can hear you. It's Mary. I was wondering who's Natalie. That's Mary. Go, Mary. No, now you muted yourself, Mary. You're muted. Try to open your mic.
Is there a way you can unmute her maybe?
I'm doing it. I've done it. There you go.
Okay,
There you
all
go.
right. So I've been through North Square a couple of times in the past few weeks, and I was kind of shocked to see that the entire North Square Park is filled with umbrella tables, so that they're surrounding the sculptures. They've taken up all the areas where there was some public seating, and it's basically that way from, well, the entire day, because it starts at lunchtime. And I guess my question is, how did that happen? Because there are only 2 restaurants in, I think, that are using that space, and it seems like a lot more space than 2 restaurants would get. And the bigger issue is that that is a square that, the public in the North End and visitors have traditionally used a lot. And I'm just wondering why the entire thing was closed off as opposed to putting some tables out.
Well, I recall in the outdoor dining meetings that they were only going to do seating in the evening, and that everything would be on the edge so that people could use the park during the day.
Yeah.
Every day of the week.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's not what's happening now.
Do you know what days they've done lunch? Because I've walked through Monday through Friday and they don't set their stuff out till 5.
So I don't know, maybe it was on a weekend, but I mean,
They're allowed to do it Saturday and Sunday, and they've paid the fee like every other restaurant. So we've given them the space that they've paid for. So they have a few tables out, and it is 2 restaurants as well. So maybe it looks.
Right, but it was, I was there at lunchtime, and it could well have been on a weekend, because that would be when I would be most likely to go through there. But the entire square was taken up. It wasn't just a few tables at lunchtime. I mean, it was so that there would be like no public access in that square at all. And actually, a weekend is a time when the public would want to access that space, I would think. So I was just shocked to see the entire thing taken up.
Yeah, and I was told that in those meetings that it wasn't going to be used during the day, only in the evening. There was no discussion that I recall about weekends.
Well, I walk by that way every single day, and they open maybe at like 3 or 4. So they do have the whole morning and day where they're not using it, and their stuff is set aside too. So it's not in the way of the North Square at all. Like I walk by every day to work and I never see it filled up. So maybe they just set out earlier, but that is something that you can send to 311 as well, or email to John and I, or outdoor dining committee
broke
can look
up.
into. But they legally are allowed to use space they have because they did pay for the full price like every other restaurant. So
Can you tell
to
us
be
what
fair,
they
we
are?
gave.
Can you tell us what they are allowed to do? You broke up.
Sorry. So I don't know the exact number of the tables off the top of my head. I don't have the spreadsheet out on me, but how each restaurant had certain measurements, they did as well too with certain amount of tables. And the last time when I did a walkthrough, they had the right amount out. So I'm happy to do another walkthrough, take a walk tomorrow and see if they're set up or if they're not doing anything. But these are things I would love if you guys took pictures and had a time. And I know that's a lot to ask for sometimes, even if you're just walking through. But with pictures, times, and email it to me is the easiest way I can get something done because I can physically see it. We have proof of it, and then we can, you know, send that to them or call them and get that squared away. But when I did walk by Monday through Friday, they weren't using it. Even last Saturday and Sunday, I go to mass on Sundays. It wasn't being used till after maybe 3. So maybe that was just one random day, which I mean, I'm not sure, but
No, it wasn't a rainy day and it was a sunny day and it
I meant
was.
random day, sorry. Not
Yeah, no, and it was lunchtime. It wasn't 3 or 4 in the afternoon. So that's, as I said, it was a beautiful sunny day, which is a day that, you know, that residents might like to be out there too. So I don't necessarily mind sharing with them, but it just seemed like they had perhaps taken more than they were entitled to take.
So do they have a right on the weekends to serve lunch in the park?
Yeah, from what I've told, because every other restaurant was allowed to serve lunch too. And I thought they didn't open till 4 o'clock anyways, but I can double check with that. I don't want to.
That's different than the meetings that we had, that I recall, but.
Well, I can take a look again. I don't.
That's okay. No, it's fine. We're already well into it. Dave, you had a question?
Well, just a comment on the same issue that, and I've said this before and I'm going to keep saying it, that it's one thing to commercialize public parking spaces along a street. It's another thing to commercialize a historic public plaza. And we worked very closely with the city and with the sculptor, the designers, to come up with the new North Square, which really is used, it is used as a public park. It should really be designated a public park. I know the city would tell me, well, it's not really a public park because it's under DPW control, not under Boston Parks control. Big deal. It's still a public park. And to allow commercialization of a public park is a terrible thing to do. And I hope that this is the last year that'll be done. And of course, I hope that this is the last year we'll see outdoor dining in the North End anyway. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for that comment. If anything, I kind of feel, well, this is just from like my point of view, I feel like it draws more people in, more tourists come to see the restaurants, come to see the parks. And when they're not being used, I feel like I always see people sitting down, but I guess everyone has their differences. So that's just, but I appreciate your comments and concerns.
Cheryl, I can add something to the conversation.
Please.
Am I unmuted?
You are unmuted. We can hear you loud and
Okay.
clear.
Okay, 2 things I can add. One is to support David's concern and to remind everyone that I have read that North Square is the oldest public square in the country. And the second thing I can add to the conversation is that at the CLC meeting, we learned that there would be 70 outdoor seats at Mama Maria's. I don't know what the number is for Cella.
It's Mama Maria and I think Chow Roma that do it, but I can take a look. I don't have the spreadsheet right now on this laptop, but I can look at what exact number table they have. I don't remember off the top of my head. But the last time I did my walkthrough, they were following every rule that we had set for them.
Are there any other questions on outdoor dining?
I had one other question on the resident parking situation. I think unlike a lot of people last summer, I felt like the parking was the biggest issue for me, and I really appreciated that the city gave us a pass. It was super easy to use, get in and out. I never had to be concerned when non-residents were parking in the limited resident spots. So I've been incredibly disappointed that this year it's a free for all. It's first come, first serve. You can never plan. And it's really contributing to the massive traffic backup around North Washington, because instead of being able to go around the back of the north end, I have to be sitting in that traffic, figuring out if I can even get into the garage. And then if you can't get in, you have to drive around more. So I'm just wondering why that change happened, and it didn't really feel like it was fully communicated, especially when it was a really easy way to appease residents. And it feels like residents were just ignored in that this year.
So when we changed it from last year, I mean, obviously I just started in January. So the differences was because there was only obviously a certain amount of people that got the key card and they had to apply for it. And then the people who didn't make the application. So that was basically kind of first come, first serve too. Whoever applied first got the key card. And people who didn't get a spot were very upset. So we thought this would be kind of like an easier way. Whereas if you were just parking on the street in general, you find a spot, you park. If not, as if anything, I've lived in the North End all my life, you go around, you look for a spot as long as you can. So we still are replacing each spot with a patio. So there's no spots that are not there. It is hard not knowing, because it's like, oh, you go, I mean, even myself, you go and it might be already filled. But then last year, say if I didn't get a key card, I didn't make the application, I don't get parking at all that summer, I would be very upset with that. I'm just speaking from like a different point of view. So last year we got like, from what I was able to see, massive complaints saying, well, this is crazy. You only let this amount of people park, and this amount who didn't apply within the day or two didn't get to park at all. Whereas now we kind of blend it and everyone kind of gets a spot here and there. And then if not, living in the North End in general, parking's tough, but you just have to look on the street like as if you were without outdoor dining. And it is unfortunate. We live in a dense neighborhood. This is why we had the fee. This is why we work so closely. We've had such a great outdoor dining committee and team and everything about that, working so closely to make everything work. I understand your frustration. I mean, it's hard to park here in general, but we did that to give people who didn't get a chance last year to park as well too.
I mean, I agree. Last year, I was not part of that first group, and the communication was really non-existent. And I talked to the owner of the garage, who said he's the only garage owner in the North End, and he said he wasn't even talked to by the city. And he's the one who reached out, and he was very happy with it. And it made it so easy. And now every single time I talk to the parking attendants, they're like, this is crazy. But my bigger point for this year is there's such a traffic backup at the intersection of Causeway and North Washington that wouldn't you be trying to solve that problem by having residents be able to go around, know where they're parking a little bit more easily? And my second question is, why don't you tow the non-residents who are parking on the street, taking up resident spots, especially in the summer? You just told us yourself that outdoor dining is bringing in tourists to the city, which is fantastic, but they're taking up resident spots. And right now it's the same price to park in a garage as it is to get a ticket. And so a lot of people just risk it. And if you don't tow, that's not solving the problem either.
Yeah, I totally agree. So we were working with them. We've had some suggestions about maybe getting tickets more expensive, because I know it is like the same price. But towing, that is something I would have to talk to BTD. I personally can't just say, yeah, let's tow a car. I don't have that authority right now. So
Doesn't the city tow when somebody's parked illegally, and isn't parking in a resident spot illegal? And
yeah,
don't-
it is illegal, and they get ticket and then towed, especially with street cleaning, they get towed right away. The only day, because it's their only day off, is Sundays. I know was an issue, which is the only way people can kind of get away with parking in residents. But I know most residents take up parking on Sundays anyways. So that is something I can talk to about changing the parking enforcement so that, you know, less people are coming in and parking and taking resident spots. So that's something we can.
That would be great, because I feel like I see them lined up on street cleaning day, and I'm like, it's amazing that you're so ready to tow residents on street cleaning day, but you're not so ready to tow non-residents the rest of the week.
So I definitely can look into that for you, but
Thank you.
that's not an answer I have right now. But
Yeah, if you could get back to us. Eva, I know you wanted to say something.
I just had a quick question for Sierra. So for the parking pass situation, so basically you pull into the garage and you just say, I'm a resident, I can't find a spot.
yeah, so John and I just personally met with a bunch of the, the two of the garages we worked with, because there was some miscommunication. So it's the North End garage and Sergeant Wharf's garage. So this year you legit just drive in and you tell them, hi, I'm part of the parking alternative. If they have available spots, we tell people to go to the North End garage first, because they have 78. Sergeant Wharf's only has 10 right now based on restaurants opting out. And then they'll check if there's a resident sticker. You have to sign their name, but make sure they write their name down, and then they'll show you where to park. They just ordered, there should be coming in soon, signs that will show you where to park. I know for Sergeant's Ward. So that we worked closely with them, and they should be all on the same page. And then they'll let you park, and then on the way out, you just show them your name. I think we're talking about maybe doing license plate now and like IDs, because some people are kind of getting, there's a lot of miscommunication the first week or so, but we've been on it with them. So they've been very good and working closely with us.
Thank you.
I have a question. I heard you mention that there is going to be Uber drop-off, Uber
Yeah.
with drop-off on Hanover Street. When is the Atlantic Avenue delivery lane going to happen? That will take care of 3 restaurants, the Sail Off, Joe's, and the Daily Catch, and the mailman, because the mailman now parks on the sidewalk because he has nowhere to go. It's dangerous. The bikes are all over the place. They need those flex posts so that people don't stop in the bike lane, and those guys are gonna get hurt too. So if we're gonna do drop-offs for Uber and Lyft on Hanover, why can't we get a drop-off delivery lane? I've been asking for this for well over a year.
Yeah, so I'm happy you brought that up. We actually were talking to them today, and I know you know, I spoke with them, and a lot of BTD are actually out.
I got Zoom. I downloaded Zoom onto my phone so we could do this mobilely.
Patrick, you need to mute yourself.
No, I'm like, I'm cool with it.
Patrick? There. No, we've been asking for this forever, for well over a year. I don't understand what's so hard. I thought it was actually happening last fall. I don't know what happened. Michael Benetti was involved, John Romano was involved, now you're involved. We're always being told, we're talking to people, it's, they've done walkthroughs down here. I know that they did that. When are we gonna see that? It's a bad situation down here with all the delivery trucks. And we want the residents, the restaurants to be able to get their deliveries safely, and we want the drivers to be safe, because they're pulling this really heavy materials, heavy boxes. They shouldn't be like looking for bikes and cars and people. I don't understand why it's taking so long, a year. We have this all over the city.
I know, I'm sorry for your frustration.
It's
But
not you, but it's like, why?
I know. Well, when I reached out to BTD, it was, we were waiting for a walkthrough to see if they legally could do it. They could switch signs. Then I had to call Sailloft to see if they were using the valet in front of them. So for me, it was a lot of.
Valet doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah, I know.
Nobody has a valet. I don't even know why the sign's there.
That's what BTD needed to double check first. So we had to do a whole background check with Sailloft to make sure they're not using it.
Sailloft never used the valet. It was Joe's.
Then Joe. So then I had to speak to Joe's as well too. So hopefully within the next couple of weeks, we can get it for you. I'll keep you in the loop with everything, but we did talk to them today too about putting it in. So
yeah, we would greatly appreciate it. And I think the restaurants would appreciate it as well.
Yeah, of course.
It would just make, I think, the drivers of all people, but anyway, thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah, of course. So I know I'll keep you in the loop with that too, but I'll call them again in the morning. But
actually, one of my good friends here, he was actually used to reach out to John all the time about the flex posts in the bike lane. He just moved today. So
really? Oh.
He kind of gave up. Anyway, he didn't give up. He just moved. So, but it was funny. We were talking about it. So he wants to know if we ever get them. All right. Anybody, any more questions? All right, we're gonna move on. Thank you, Sierra.
What about North Washington Street, traffic
the
lights?
Oh, yes. So I
Dave,
speaking with BTD as well too. Can I share my screen if you don't mind?
you bet. Hold on.
Okay, so
Hold on. Sorry. I hit the wrong button. Hit the wrong button again. There you go.
okay. Okay, so this is a little map of, I think, can you guys see it? I can't really zoom. I don't know how to zoom in. Oh, there we go.
Somehow now we're seeing the magic quadrant.
Do you see it?
No, I'm seeing Gartner's magic quadrant for meeting solutions.
Oh, what the heck?
You might want to drop that.
Can you see this or no?
Try again.
Hold on. Do you see that now?
There it is. Yes.
Okay, sorry. I had a lot of tabs open. Okay, so this is North Washington. Yeah, you can see this over here. This way, if you can see my mouse, is going towards the Charlestown Bridge. like towards Hanover. The other side's going towards the other way. So you guys were correct. And I was actually happy you really brought that up because these are called mass arms. I had like a whole lesson with BTD today. So this right here is supposed to be further down towards this way. So in the meantime, they were telling me they're going to take the left turn signal that will be right here, and they're going to move it so that it's over this onto the other mass. So it's not shown in the drawing. I'm sorry, this is the best diagram I had. So where this mouse is, they're going to basically put the left lane, like a temporary light that will show you that you can turn so that cars in the right lane are in the correct lane. I mean, going towards the left. So that'll be over them. And they said that they will get that mass arm, the big steel things, and they will replace those within 10 months to a year because they're on back order for almost 10 months. So as of now, they're just going to switch the lights and move them over to the other mass arm facing this way. So yeah, you were right because it was facing this way, but now they will have it going towards Hanover Street. So when I sat down with them, they told me they're going to do that within the next couple of weeks. So hopefully that will get resolved soon, and I'll keep you guys updated as well too. But the BTD team has been very helpful in explaining this whole situation. So it basically was just because, you know, when they put the bike lane too, it kind of it took over that area. So the lines got like messed up. So that the left lane signal should be further down this way. If you can see my little mouse going towards this way so that they could take the left turn going down that way. It's kind of hard not having like a color thing, but so yeah, they're going to move it. They said the steel mass arms in back over 10 months. So within the next year, so they'll actually have the mass arms, which is what the big steel things where traffic lights are on, that will be replaced hopefully within the next year. If not, they're going to put something temporary for lights within the next couple of weeks. That way we'll direct people in the correct way. So people now, I mean, if they're just driving, they can see that it goes that way, but it does get confusing with the different lanes. And then when the bus is getting away. So that will be resolved within the next couple of weeks. I've been in contact with them. They said they will keep me updated when they do get a chance to do that as well. So I was happy they were able to take a look, and thank you. I forget who personally took that up or brought that up. I think it was David. But yes, do you have a question, David?
Go ahead, Dave.
Just a quick correction, that left turn lane is for Valenti Way,
But yes.
Valenti Way,
Yeah.
not Medford Street. But mostly what I want to say is thank you very much, Ciara, and thank you, BTD, for responding to this so quickly. It is currently and has been for many, many years, a very dangerous situation, especially for pedestrians. Thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah. So sorry, my mouse was going a little too far. Yeah, it will be for Valenti where you're correct. And they will just be pushed over. So in the meantime, they will realign those. And I do appreciate you bringing that up too. And yes, they're very good. And they're really responsive. I sat down with them today and went over all of this.
Great, thank you.
Of course. And
Any
then,
more questions? I want to keep moving. Oh, go ahead, Margaret.
I did contact the transportation or the crosswalk people, and they extended that light for me so that it is 18 minutes. I was unable to cross the street with my cane in time. Make sure they don't change it and make it shorter, because it's a very dangerous crossing and I use it a great deal.
yeah, I'm happy they were able to do that. Yeah, definitely. No, we'll definitely keep the crosswalks the same.
I
just
was
think it was
very grateful to them.
Yeah, that's awesome. They're very good.
All right, thank you very much. Next up, we have our friends at Gordon Ramsay Burger. And I apologize, I don't have your names, but I'm assuming it's Jean and Patrick that are going to be speaking. You can open your mics.
Yes, hi, or good
Nice
evening,
to meet
everyone. I'm Gene Richard. I'm the attorney for the Gordon Ramsay Burger. And with me is Patrick Fermender. And also I saw Arthur Meridian. Patrick is going to be is the proposed manager. And we do anticipate once we're staffed up that there'll be a different manager actually opening it. And Arthur is the vice president of operations for the Gordon Ramsay restaurants in North America. So so all three of us are here, and thanks for having us. The plan is to have what is called a Gordon Ramsay burger restaurant at the Canopy Hotel, which is at 111 North Street. I have drawings and exteriors that I could show if you'd like, or share with you.
And you should be able to share.
Okay, so I imagine everyone is familiar, but this is the Canopy Hotel. And everyone can see that, I hope?
Not yet.
Oh, all right. Is there something I need to do?
No, you should be able to share. You need to hit the share screen button, and it'll open up everything on your desktop, and then just click on the document you want to share.
All right. Let me see here.
Bottom of your screen, you see the share screen button. It's green.
That's the problem. It's halfway hidden down there.
Oh no. It's next to the chat button.
There it is. Okay.
Yeah, just click on that. And then it'll show everything on your desktop. And then click on the document you want to put up. There you go.
Okay.
Now you have the meeting agenda up. Now you have your email up. Open the document that you want to share.
Yeah. There it is.
There you go.
Now everyone can see that?
Yes.
Yes.
Perfect. Thank you. All right, so that's the exterior of the hotel. And to the right of the screen, the two-story and portion of the sort of a slice of the building is where the restaurant will be. And the restaurant will be two-level. So on the first floor is interior. And I'll show you drawings of that in a second. And then on the second floor is a seasonal outdoor patio. And you can see that there with some umbrellas, etc. And this is another view of the hotel with the restaurant portion that we were just looking at over here on the right, the two-story bump out. And over here is the main part of the hotel. Now, what I wanted to show you is hidden. So let me see here. Okay. While I leave that up, let me just say that Gordon Ramsay, just to give a little introduction, is the celebrity chef. I imagine most people are aware. He's on TV a lot, has a number of shows, and more to the point, he has approximately 36 restaurants worldwide, and about a third of those in North America. They have various brands. So we're here tonight about Gordon Ramsay Burger. And I'll have a menu that I can show you, we can talk about. Ramsay's Kitchen opened in January. That's at the Mandarin Oriental Hotel in Back Bay. Very different concept, somewhat more formal, even though I wouldn't say formal. I don't, but it's a different menu, sort of a different price point. And would be a different feel from what the burger restaurant will be.
Are there drawings of the restaurant that you can share with us? Because right now we don't see anything.
Okay.
We see white and it says renderings.
Okay. Let me pull
Yeah,
that
there you go. Scroll down. See if you keep going, you might.
Okay.
The exterior, yeah. If you'd like to show us the interior, you said that would be great.
Okay.
There.
Here is, can you see that well?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. So as I say, the interior portion on the ground floor is here. And it's just under 4,000 square feet or 3,715 square feet. And the rooftop is up here. I say rooftop, but it's the second floor. Exterior, there's some interior space. And then the interior space is for a small service. Well, hang on. It's a what is it called? Service station. Thank you. And a staircase and elevator. But the patrons will be, customers will be sitting outdoors. And this shows you more of the retail B is what we're talking about for the restaurant on this slide here. And that's the entire hotel there. So this now is the first floor. That shows you what the equipment will look like. So there's the seats and the tables and booths around the side. And here's a bar with seating. And I'm not quite sure where the restrooms are, but I think that's here. And then also a kitchen. And then second floor, here's what it will look like in terms of tables and chairs. This part here is the interior with the service station and the elevator and walk stairwell. And then there's an outdoor bar and a patio seating all around the side. Okay, so the menu is here, and you can see it's hot dogs, burgers, salads, French fries, a typical, well, here's shakes. So typical type of a burger, casual type menu with some appetizers there as well. Okay. And the drink menu is here. And I should say that these menus that I'm showing you are taken from the Chicago restaurant. And you'll see that, for example, the local brews there are Chicago. They don't have a menu ready for Boston yet, but it will be similar with obviously different types of local beers. And here's
do you think you're gonna
non-alcoholic
open?
and other beverages.
When will you be opening?
The plan is to be open toward the end of this year.
Oh,
So before the end of the year, but sometime in the fall.
Okay. Do we have any questions? Victor and Dave, I know you, go ahead, Dave, your mic's open.
Yeah, hi. I attended the ZLC meeting, and I think the key issue that came up, and we got what I believe to be a good response, is hours of operation, especially on that roof deck.
Yes.
Can you please describe the licensed hour of operation, as well as what you're committing, what hours are you committing to operate at?
Yes. Actually, and I'm sorry, you did ask at the earlier meeting about the licensed hours, and I think those will be considerably different than what we've asked for. But the plan is to open every day, Monday, 7 days a week at 11 a.m., close at 10 p.m. Sunday through Thursday, and 11 p.m. on Friday and Saturday. The outdoor terrace is hours no later than 11 p.m., which, you know, is consistent with what I just said. But I believe we put that into the description on the license itself. And will also be seasonal, which is, I forget exactly what we said, but I think it's May through October and November. But
I can add to that. I made a note. It was March to November that was mentioned.
Okay,
Yeah,
March
this
to
is-
November.
Yeah.
And then we've also asked for alcohol service at 11, starting at 11 a.m. on Sundays. So those are the hours we've asked for, the hours they intend to operate. We're getting a license from Roxbury from a totally different type of operation. So I'm sure they must stay open as late as possible, but that's just not what this operation will be.
And those hours that you described, the hours of operation, those are helpful. And I trust that you will stick to them for the long term. They're helpful in that they don't add more noise, more late night drinking to all of that late night drinking that happens over in the Blackstone block area. And along with that drinking, there's been a lot of problems there as well, including a recent murder as well over there. But and this, of course, this establishment is adjacent to that block, but also closer to the north end. And we were very concerned about extending that bad activity any closer to the north end. Your business operation and your hours of operation seem to mitigate that. So that's very helpful.
Good to hear. And that's just the nature of the operation and the customer type that the Gordon Ramsay Burger will be seeking to serve. So in terms of, there were also some questions at the ZLC meeting. There will be recorded music, but of a low level, no live entertainment. Some TVs in the bar area, but generally those are just video and not audio. Turns out it was said that let's say for big games, they might turn on the audio. So probably for these basketball finals, the Super Bowl, that sort of thing, the TVs would actually have audio on, but in general, it's just low background music. On the slides that I put up, the seating capacity is 188 for both levels, and that's 89 on the outdoor terrace and 99 on the first floor. There's no delivery service has been engaged. There's not a commitment to never do that, but at least at the start, that's not going to happen. And same with takeout. They don't have any plans to do anything for at least the first few months. That's I think a good
Gene, what
rundown of what
about-
they plan.
Gene, what about functions?
Functions, I have not asked. I would throw that to either Patrick or Arthur.
If there are
Yeah.
functions, if there will be functions, I hope that the same hours will be adhered to.
Yeah. Hi, this is Arthur. Yeah, absolutely, David. We've opened up in Chicago, and we haven't done any functions, and we're really not geared towards doing any types of functions. I mean, we may have small groups that might have reservations, but it will never be outside of our hours of operation for sure. We're very adamant into sticking to our hours of operation, and quite frankly, from what we've seen in Chicago, we're more of an eatery versus a bar type place. So most people that come to our restaurant in Chicago, even at the bar, almost every single person eats a meal. So we've never been a sort of a late night hangout place by any means. And we have a very limited bar because of that. So, but we'll never do anything outside of our hours of operation.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so do I hear a motion?
I have one question.
Oh, yes, of course.
Sure. Jean, I have a note that there was a licensing board hearing tentatively scheduled for June 29. Is that firmed yet?
It's still tentative, but I think as long as this goes well,
Okay.
we're planning to do it the 29th, and I would get back and confirm that and do all the pre-hearing notifications that we would need to do for that date.
Okay, and thank you for confirming tonight what was the commitments that were made at the ZLC meeting.
Are
Certainly.
there any other questions? Let's have a motion, please. And you can vote. I need a motion.
Okay,
Well,
I move.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, David.
Well, I move that NEWRA members eligible to vote this evening submit a vote by email either to support this application or oppose this application. And I forget the email address.
I just put in the chat. It's my address, cdelgreco@comcast.net.
I second the motion.
Thank you. Thank you very much. People can send me an email. Don't do it in the chat because we're gonna adjourn now. And Jean and Patrick and Arthur will, Victor will let you know the vote. We'll get you a letter, and we appreciate you coming by. Good luck with your restaurant. Welcome to
you.
Boston.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Does anyone have anything else, or we can adjourn? Thanks, Sierra, for taking all our questions. I think Henry has already hung up. All right, if there are no other questions, I adjourn this meeting and we'll see you in July. Have a great holiday.